limbs and lower limbs. So those pyramidal tracts have to do with controlling voluntary motion in your skeletal muscles. Most of them cross here. Most of them are the ones that control your upper limbs and lower limbs because that's what you have the most control over. And that's called the lateral corticospinal tracts, by the way, which I have not told you yet. That's what they're called. Corticospinal, okay? And then they will eventually synapse, possibly with a little teeny itty bitty interneuron, and then to that lower motor neuron that we saw before, that one, wherever it is. Right there. That's the lower motor neuron. That's the one that goes to your skeletal muscles.
Okay.
Okay. And there's probably going to be a little interneuron there we're not going to worry about. So we have this upper motor neuron coming from precentral gyrus area, right? It comes down, goes to the internal capsule, goes to the cerebral peduncles, crosses in the medulla oblongata, comes down the spinal cord laterally, and then synapses with a little teeny interneuron, and then with that neuron that goes out to some skeletal muscle. That's major, 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 major. Okay. And these are on the side, you said, the olivary nuclei. Let's see, what else do we have here? Okay. From the lateral ventricles would go where?
Lateral goes to the
third ventricle, which would be in this area here. From that we go through the
cerebral aqueduct,
which should be just in front. There should be a little depression here. Okay?
Posterior of the
just in front of the corpora quadrigemum, just in front of that.
The sisters.
To the
Fourth
ventricle, not shown here very well. From the fourth ventricle, we leave through the...
There's a lateral aperture
There's
and a median
two
aperture.
laterals and a median aperture in the central canal.
Subarachnoid space.
And then it's going to go in the subarachnoid space and be reabsorbed through the arachnoid villi into the... No, not yet.
No.
Not yet. Is there sinus?
Yes, sinuses.
Yes.
Like superior sagittal sinuses, other
Superior
sinuses.
sagittal.
Sinuses, and then it goes to the jugular. Internal jugular.
Internal jugular.
Very good. And that will eventually go back to the heart to be pumped around all over. Okay. And this is the
Arbor vitae.
arbor vitae, okay.
Cerebellum arbor vitae.
Tree of life, okay. White matter there. Okay.
Tree of
Avatar.
life.
Okay,
Avatar.
what else is here? And okay, later we're going to look at this stuff too. This, see this vessel coming in?
Yeah.
And vertebral. Remember we had those transverse foramina? This is why, because this goes through a transverse foramina, joins with another one from the other side.
Transverse
Make a little
foramina.
circle here, and it's going to help feed the brain. So coming into the brain is a carotid artery, but also this. Okay. What else do we need here? What's back in this region?
Pineal gland?
Yeah,
Can't see.
pineal gland, okay? Okay, or pineal something, pineal gland, whatever. Okay, so that has to do with what hormone does it make?
Melatonin.
Melatonin, which has to do with
Sleep, circadian.
circadian rhythms, sleep-wake cycles.
Night
and-
shift.
Okay, and I don't think it's safe to take it necessarily. Okay. Prefrontal cortex, what does that have to do with?
Thought.
Emotions.
Emotion, judgment,
Thought.
long-term planning, all the stuff that got screwed up in little Phineas Gage when that rod went through his head. Okay?
Personalities in it.
Personality.
Okay.
He got vulgar.
Also, just in front of the pre-central gyrus, just in front of the primary motor area, we have the premotor area. What does that have to do with? It's an association area.
Is it, it's premotor.
Premotor has to do with motor.
So Broca's area? No.
No.
Wasn't that gross movement?
Has to do with planning, like the order of the movements. Okay, so like if you're into sports, this helps you. If you're playing an instrument, it helps you. And some of that information can be later transferred to the cerebellum. Okay, what does the cerebellum have to do with?
Fine
Balance,
tuning.
proprioception.
Okay, balance, proprioception, comparator function I told you about, compares what you intend to do with what you are doing, makes
yeah.
little adjustments.
The DUI one.
What kind of information is going? What kind of sensory information goes there? What kind of sensory information goes there?
What do you mean, what kind?
Well, name it. Is it touch?
Motor, isn't it?
Motors, proprioception.
That's not sensory.
Oh.
It's a long word.
Proprioception?
Proprioception. So this tells you what's happening in your muscles and your joints and stuff like that. There is conscious proprioception that goes to the postcentral gyrus. There's subconscious information that goes here. Even the ones that are going to your conscious proprioception may send off little axon collaterals to this too. This is getting information from special pathways of its own. spinocerebellar pathways. They don't even go through consciousness, this is subconscious. Also getting information from your eyes, because you see things. It helps you keep your balance, and your ears, because you have balance in your ears too. So it tells you lots of information going there. Okay. And hopefully you tested yours the other day to see if you were drunk. Were you, any of you?
I was.
You were, okay. Because I flunk you if you're drunk.
I was high.
I'll turn red if
You're
I get
high,
drunk.
huh? Now, what's the difference between a primary motor area and an association motor? So what's the difference between primary and association areas? So we have 3 types. We have motor, we have primary motor, we have primary sensory, and we have association areas. What's association areas do? So what's the difference, for example, of me
Association.
hearing something and using an auditory association area?
It takes information and process it?
Yeah, it helps interpret the information.
Interpretation.
Okay? So it's one thing to hear a foreign language, another thing to understand the foreign language. It's one thing to see a car and understand what a car is for. Okay? So, somebody from some little island, isolated, might see a car perfectly well, but wouldn't understand what a car is for. Okay? Is that enough for the brain for now?
Yeah.
And what are the raised areas called?
That's the gyrus, sulcus.
Gyrus, okay, and the depression?
Sulcus.
Sulci. Depending on who you listen to, because I noticed in the video they pronounce it 2 ways.
Fisher.
Fissures is easier.
Yeah.
Deep.
Fissures is
They're
easier.
deep.
Fissures deep one, okay?
It's
Let me
like
put this away
valleys.
and we'll talk about spinal cord. How's that?